So if you've got a local business, you'll know the importance of being found on the top 3 when people are searching locally for your business. And it's particularly the top 3 because that will give you a huge chunk of traffic. But with so many people understanding the importance of optimization, registering their Google business profile, and knowing the importance of making sure they're found in the top 3, the competition is getting higher for 2022. So you'll want to know the most important factors that are going to help you get ahead of your competition. Well, this tutorial is going to show you some tips, some tools, and some strategies that I use to help me to get ahead of the competition for 2022. And this amazing tool that I use can be downloaded for free, and I'll show you exactly where you can get that in a moment. But for those of you that are new to this channel, you'll know that I've got 22 years of experience as a web designer, and I share my tips as a small business with you so you can benefit your small business too. The aim of this channel is for you to get more ideas as to how you can optimize your Google business listing, get ahead of the competition, get more views to your business, and therefore more inquiries, more customers, more clients. Now, before I go on to this amazing tool, what sentence could I summarize optimization for Google business profiles? What would be the most key thing for you to take away as one sentence if you want to optimize the right way? Well, here it is. Always put customers first and provide regular, accurate content for Google. Now that's a simple process really. If you take that principle and apply it to whatever you're doing, so if you're thinking of writing a post, writing a blog, linking, helping people, making a video, think of your customers first, think about updating on a regular basis and letting Google know a bit more about your business. So let it know about your hours, make sure that it gets reviews, make sure it gets questions and answers. There's so many other things that includes, which we'll come on to in a few more videos time. So what about this one tool that's really going to help you? It will help you audit your business. And in effect, it provides huge ranking information so that you can see what areas you can improve in, so you can get into the Google Map Pack, and so you can be found on local result pages. Now, if you've got a tool that you like using or you found to be helpful, then put it in the comments down below, because I'll be interested to know if there's a tool that I haven't come across before or something else that you feel will be just as useful for our followers and our subscribers on this channel. So one of the biggest factors that Google's looking for are categories, and making sure you've got the right primary category in place, and also make sure you've got the secondary categories that will help outrank your competitors. Now, the majority of people only have one category, or they have categories that are perhaps outdated, because Google does update categories on a regular basis. So I'm going to show you how you can get the best categories for your business right now by jumping on the computer and using this extension tool, GMB Everywhere. So the first thing you need to do is to head over to GMB Everywhere. I'll put a link down below for you. And if you head there, you'll see then install Chrome extension. And what that will do is if you click on it, it will then put that little extension into your browser. So you need a Chrome browser for this. This is why it's so good, because for free on this link, you'll get 5 audit views a month, and then that kind of updates every month. You get your basic audit, your review audit, a post audit. So we'll look at some of these things in another video, but we're going to look at the basic audit today. So once it's installed and you go to your Chrome, you can then go to Google Maps, or you can go to a search engine. So I've just put in here dentist. And you'll see now these orange boxes come up if you want to know whether it's worked. And also you'll see here, there's a button if you want to just make sure it is installed. So that tells me that it's now installed into my Chrome extension. So I'm going to do a search for dentists in Dubai. And remarkably, they have a tremendous bit of competition here. And the reason actually I noticed this was particularly looking at the amount of spammy titles that haven't been dealt with yet. So in some of my videos, I speak about spammy titles, but all these titles here are almost sticking as many keywords in as they can. This used to work, so avoid doing that if you want to future-proof your business in the coming weeks, because that's an update that's just been released from Google. Now, primary categories are the most important ranking factor. And you can see that White Spark did a study at the end of 2021 that primary category is the major factor. That was what was shown from a study of thousands and thousands of businesses. So how can you tell here then what the primary categories are of your competitors? Well, if I look through here, I can see orthodontist, I can see dental clinic, I can see dental clinic, dentist. So you need to decide, do I go for dental clinic? Do I go for dentist? Do I go for one of these other categories? The reason there's a star next to each of these categories is because that is the primary category. So if you wanted to see what your competitors are using as a primary category, some may be using dentist, some may go for dental clinic. You need to decide which one is most appropriate for your business, or it may be even one of these secondary categories that they're using. Now, why do we have the star? Well, here's a little tip that most people don't realize. When you do a search for your competitors, the one that Google shows, so if I notice, for instance, Google shows you a category, but it isn't necessarily the primary category. So for instance, if I did teeth whitening service, this business might come up and it might show teeth whitening service here, but it doesn't mean it's its primary category. So it's really important to understand that the main priority goes on this one here. So you need to know what your competitors are, because it may not be what comes up in your search result. So if I do a search in Google results, and I can see again, these coming up, and here we see dentist, dental clinic, dental clinic. But what I'm going to now focus on, which is going to be really helpful, is a basic audit. And what this does is it gives me then quite a lot of information, some information that's going to be pretty useful for you. So here we get, again, the categories, but it could be that if you wanted these categories, you wanted to go to your competitor and have the same categories as him, you just click copy here, and that will give you all those categories then, and you can then put that into your Google Business profile. Now, there are times when you perhaps need to get the latitude, longitude, or the knowledge panel ID or place ID, things like that. So that's all there for you too. But here's where some of the really useful links come in. These give you links to various things that Google produces, but you'll never know the long URL to get to them. But for example, if I click on this one, this will give me just a nice clean knowledge panel. So if I wanted to show someone my knowledge panel, that just gives me the knowledge panel to show on its own. So what a great way to display that if you wanted someone to see what it is that you do. You want to share your GMB post, then you can just click that, and then you can see all the posts that I've made recently are on here as well. So again, if you just wanted to share something like that. But this is where the SEO part comes in. So this is going to give you loads and loads of other audit tools that you've probably never come across, or if you have, you've forgotten about them. So things like, what is Google thinking about my website? Does it know what the cache page is? So if I click on here, and this is what Google sees my website as. So this is a kind of the last time it cached it, which is the 10th of February. But also you might want to know, well, did it know about anything in the last week? So if I click on here, I've had 2 new pages spidered by Google in the last week. What about in the last month? That will tell you here in the last month. So we've got 4 there. And what about in the last 6 months? And I've got quite a few more there as well. So that's great to see that Google is spidering my website more. So that's going to help ranking, because that's going to give me more authority, because Google sees I've got fresh content constantly being put into Google. So do you remember the articles, they're focused on the customer, but the content information is given to Google, so that Google's algorithm has more data to work with and therefore can serve me more constantly. So that's more about Google. But you can also analyze your website traffic. So Neil Patel's put out a brilliant tool. So we don't get a great deal of history because it's free, but it does give you an idea as to how many organic words I've got, how much organic traffic I get, my domain authority, how many backlinks I've got. And again, it will rate it. So I've got some goods here, which is good to see. I can see again an increase leading up to November, bit of a decrease, but January it's back up again to a high level. And again, there's obviously, if I sign up for a free trial, I can see the history here as well. I can see the keywords and see how they're ranking and whether they're in the number 1. So the top 1 to 3 gives you your green area here. So that's what you're after. So I've got 240 keywords that rank in the top 1 to 3. So they'll be the ones that give me the most traffic. I can go here and see a bit more about the various countries and where I'm getting traffic from and which keywords are being used to find them. And here's the bit more detail on the keywords where people are really giving more traffic. So we can see the volume as well that comes through, and then roughly how many visits. And obviously the higher up your position on a keyword, the more traffic you generally will get free. So some incredibly useful parts here, but all this comes free. And all of it is available just through this one tool. Analyze your mobile friendliness. So if you click on this, it will then test to see how mobile friendly your website is. So it's good to see then it comes up mobile friendly. So it says it is mobile friendly when it was last tested and when it was last crawled. A domain lookup. So this is a useful little tool. And I'll just give you name servers and things that you may need to know. the technology used on a website. So if you want to know what the CMS is it using WordPress, what plugins does it use, then you can click on here and it will give you that type of information. You'll see what types of things you're using to speed up the website and what forms, what plugins and so on, cookie notice, all that type of thing if you just wanted to check on a website. If you want to know about your structured data, you can click on this and it'll do a test for you to see that if it's valid or not. You've got your website audit as well, which is a bit, again, a similar one to that one we analysed with Neil Patel. So this takes a bit of a while, 10 minutes on average. So we'll leave that to run in the background. And website history, so we want to know the archive. So if you want to see how your website looked or how others looked in the past, what changes have been made. So I can go back to a really nice early version of my website. So you can see how things have changed over the years. So there we go. So we've now got the information come up and we can see whether there's a good SEO score. We're looking for greats if we can, which we've got. So we've got good traffic, good keywords, backlinks. So it's kind of a semi-audit that we saw before, but we get a bit more information about how it's crawled as well. So you just want to make sure you've got at least a good chunk of your pages being discovered by Google, which again, I can see here. And again, it's checking things. There are some SEO issues. So you just want to go through some of these. So some of them will be easy enough. So 8 pages with a duplicate title tag. So if you click on view details and it will then just show you where those pages are. And you can then just change the title tag so they're not duplicated. But on the whole, if you can get most of these things analysed and then sorted out, you'll find that you'll get a great increase again in traffic. So that's a pretty powerful tool to use. But there are other factors as well that you need to consider. For example, people are realizing the power now of reviews. Reviews are a really important factor for 2022. In fact, more so now than ever before. But you know, most people have got a total misunderstanding of how reviews should be optimized and how they work within Google Business Profile. So if you want to get this right, then you need to head over to this video because I'm going to show you exactly what's needed to get your business reviews working for you so that you can be found in that top 3 pack. I'll see you there.